The first one is called the banking quadrant, right? So in a bank, and I use the bank as an example because all of us use a bank, right? So in a bank, we have depositors, we have borrowers, we have bankers, and then we have shareholders. Okay, these are the 4 different parties in a bank. Right now, basically, if you have a job here on this live stream, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're watching the replay on YouTube, whether you're on Zoom, it doesn't matter. If you're watching this right now, basically you're in a position where you use a bank, right? If you use a bank, then you are a depositor, no matter what. That's part of what you do is automatically your paycheck goes where? It goes to a bank, okay? And so this is something I want us all to be able to realize, okay, we're already wearing the hat of a depositor. Now, what does a depositor do? We give the bank money, okay? Why do we give the bank money? Because we're supposed to. That's where we keep the money. It's got to go somewhere, right? So we either have to bury it in the backyard, put it under the mattress, or stick it in a bank, okay? So here's what we are getting. The exchange to us is right now on a bank account, you are making about 0.01% interest, okay? This is what you're receiving, right? Now, what are you giving to get that? You are giving access to your dollars. Okay, now most people aren't aware of this. I wasn't until several years back that there's something called fractional reserve banking. Okay, fractional reserve banking means when you give the bank access to your dollars and they pay you that very generous 0.01% interest rate that we get, they're taking your dollars and they're investing those dollars. This is a loan, okay? You loaned them your money, they're paying you interest. It's an unsecured loan. And the reason that that is true is when you look at the balance sheet, the financial statement of a bank, their deposits are considered liabilities. They're not assets, they're liabilities. Why? Because they owe that money to the depositor, which means that that is a loan. What is the loan secured by? Nothing. You're giving an unsecured loan to a financial institution. For a loan rate, you're earning 0.01%. They're taking that money and they are allowed to loan out 100% of the money you give them. The reserve requirement on banks right now is 0. They don't have to keep even a cent of your money in the vault, right? So what are they doing? They're doing, loans to other people. The mortgage, that was your money. The car loans that someone got today, that was your money, right? The credit card that someone's paying 19% interest rate on, that was your money. Okay, not only that, but they're allowed to trade in the stock market and in foreign currency markets. Banks are basically allowed to act like hedge funds. They can aggressively trade and speculate with your money. So think about this. They're paying you 0.01%. And then they're using that money to make double and triple digit returns. Guess what the #1 profit center was for JP Morgan Chase Q4 of 2020, when we were all struggling with the pandemic and the recession and the craziness from the election and politics. JP Morgan Chase Bank had their most profitable fourth quarter in the history of their company, and their #1 profit center was foreign currency trading. They don't have any of their own money to trade foreign currency with. That was your money. If you have money with JP Morgan Chase, they're sticking it in foreign currency and they're making the most profit they've ever made and paying 0.01%. Okay, so everyone here is a depositor. You're just depositing it into another bank, not your own bank, that takes the money, they make money with it and pay you nothing. The other thing that you can be is you could be a borrower, right? So what happens with a borrower? A borrower, what are they getting? They're getting a loan. Okay, what are they giving? Sometimes they might be giving a down payment, right? But the main thing that they're giving is income and interest over the period of that loan. Okay, so here's the thing you have to rework. This loan was not the banker's money. This loan was the depositor's money. So the banker is taking the depositor's money and giving it to the borrower as a loan. The borrower is paying usually some kind of a down payment to the banker and paying income and interest for the period of that loan. If it's a mortgage, that's 30 years. If it's a car loan, that's 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I've even seen 9-year loans now, right? So the banker is making down payment money, getting income from the borrower, getting interest from the borrower for putting at risk the deposit. Right? Like, this is actually how it works. I want to stress this because when I saw this, I was like, that is so messed up. Right? So the borrower is and with the loan, the borrower could make money, right? Like, what the borrower does with the loan is up to the borrower. So the borrower could definitely take a loan and go make a good financial decision. They could buy real estate. They could invest. They could grow their business. So the depositor is getting screwed. Like, there's literally nothing good happening for the depositor. There's no benefit there. With the borrower, you get to use the money. And as long as you can make more than the interest costs, it's in the hands of the borrower to be wise and be a good investor. Okay. Now, what about the banker? The banker is orchestrating this, right? The banker is marketing to get incoming deposits, and then he's taking those deposits and he's loaning them out. He's investing them in order to grow the bank. And what does the banker make? He typically makes a percentage, right? So if he loans this out, let's say at 5%, and he is paying 0.01%, right? His spread is 4.99%, right? And you might look at that and you're like, 4.99 is not super high. Yeah. But when you look at it from a standpoint of like, what percentage is he making on 0.01, right? Like, how many times does 0.01 go into 4.99? Let's look at that really quick. So we have 4.99 divided by 0.01. That's a 499% return with none of his own money at risk. When you take 0.01% and you make 5% and your cost is just that 0.01%, that's a 499% return on not even his own money. Nothing of his is at risk, right? So can you see why banks do this? This is a phenomenal return. This is not only triple digits, this is like stupid triple digits, right? So that's the banker. So think about, how many people do you know that are depositors? Pretty much everyone. How many people do you know that are borrowers? A lot of people, but not everyone. How many people do you know that are actually bankers? Maybe zero. Maybe you can count it on one hand. Like, how many literal bankers, like people that run a bank, do you actually know in your life? Okay. Now, the next part is the shareholders. The shareholders, they get dividends. Right? So this is the exchange. Now, I want to point out, the banker is getting the exchange of receiving 499% return. He's giving up nothing. Do you see how that's out of exchange? That's completely out of balance. He's putting nothing at risk. He's putting nothing into the deal. He's providing no value. In fact, he's actually giving you a lot less than he could on your return on your savings in your checking account. And in exchange for that, there's about a 500% return that he's getting. Okay. Now the shareholders get a dividend. Okay. A dividend is a percentage of the profit from the bank. Okay. So that's what they're receiving. Okay. And then the other thing is they're giving up typically investment capital. Generally, a shareholder is a shareholder because they bought ownership in the bank or they provided money to start the bank up. And so that's why they get dividends. They're an investor. So when the bank does well, the shareholder gets a dividend, right? So before I talk about how this works and how you can do this, the average person has zero way to become a shareholder in a bank. The average person has zero way to become a banker. The average person does have a way to become a borrower, but typically, this is not the best way to borrow. I'm going to show you the best way to borrow today. And the average person is basically forced to become a depositor. If you're wondering, what does Wealth Dynamics do? How can we actually help you? Number one, if you haven't gotten a copy of my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom, grab one now. You can get that down in the comments in the video. You can get the link for that. And finally, if you have a desire to start getting help walking through these different phases toward financial freedom, book a call with my team. Go to our website, set up a call. We're able to help out and answer questions. That's how we can help you. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you turn notifications on, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.